program. Views and claims expressed are those of the program producer and are not endorsed by this station. Opinions expressed are not necessarily those of radio station KMET, its management, employees, or affiliates.
It's time to steer the line.
Touchdown!
Sports betting, fantasy football, and the latest NFL news. Featuring Loud Esmond, Christian Giordani, Rocky Giordani, and Jeremy James. Bet on us to make you a better better.
What?
Let's get ready to steer the line.
Good afternoon, folks. Welcome to another segment of Steer the Line. I am your host, alongside with Jeremy James, Rocky Giordani, and Loud Esmond. First of all, before we start, I just want to thank our good friend Reverse Smogcheck out by Lake Elsinore. Pop, I'll let you go take it from here.
Yeah, Anthony Delgado's got 40 guys watching after they all bet the Ravens last week. They're all waiting for our picks, and we were all unanimous on the Ravens last week, so they went big, evidently there. So they're waiting for our picks, man. Here we go, guys.
All right, moving ahead. Jeremy, how excited are you for the championship round?
It's always a great day of football. It's the last chance to watch two games in one day. Which is always nice. But, yeah, this year, I hate the fact that we have to watch Kansas City yet again. Hopefully that they get it handed to them by Baltimore. But I am excited to see Detroit with a chance to get into the Super Bowl. I don't know that they can beat San Francisco, but it's going to be a lot of fun to cheer them on and hope.
Yeah, it's going to be an offensive powerhouse between two teams, both of them being top 5 rated offenses this year. But is Detroit's defense good enough to hang on to San Francisco, Loud?
What? I'm sorry, I just woke up from a nap.
Yeah,
just kidding. Christian is very well rested for the show.
And I can't see Christian.
Everybody knows.
Christian?
Yeah, it's like 3 minutes before the show, I'm like, okay, where is Christian? And then, I fell asleep. Okay, so we're glad you're well rested, Christian. That's good to know. Rocky, what black site has the CIA taken you to?
You can't see me because I can't see Christian.
No, I'm just saying the background. It looks like you're in.
You look like you're being interrogated.
Like you're in the CIA.
Yeah,
I'm on the road. I stopped at a hotel and asked them if I could use their business center, and they were kind enough to let me. So
okay, because
I'm in the hotel somewhere.
I was going to say, how's the waterboarding going?
Right, no problem. I can swim.
Okay. The question was, can the Lions hang with the 49ers? And the answer is, I don't think so, but I'm concerned about how the 49ers played last week.
Yeah.
And I'm also concerned about how the Ravens played last week. Both teams, let's just say, were underwhelming. At least the Ravens were completely underwhelming in the first half. And the 49ers had to have a Brock Purdy touchdown drive late in the game to win against Green Bay, whose defense kind of sucks. So neither team covered themselves with glory. I'm hopefully going to chalk that up to rust because they hadn't played in a couple weeks. But anybody else? Was anybody impressed with the 49ers last week? Because I wasn't.
No.
Well, before that last drive, saw something I hadn't seen before from Brock Purdy. He yelled at Brandon Ayuk. I mean, he got in his face and yelled at him. And that's when they started coming up. Listen, 3 weeks rest is going to be put rust on anybody. I can't think of any reason why both of the number one seeds stunk it up so bad in the first half last week. The Ravens had to come back in the second half. The Ravens did cover the spread, thank goodness. But the 49ers were flat until that last drive. But I can answer that question about Detroit's defense really quickly. No way. They give up more over 13-yard pass plays, like over 100 last season than anybody in the league. So we got Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel, and if they cover them long, you got Kittle over the middle to pick their poison. They gave up like 15 huge plays over the middle last week to a mediocre pass offense. So, no, I expect the 49ers to come out big this week, knock off all the rust, and beat the crap out of the Lions. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and tell it now. That's my pick of the week. 49ers minus 7.5.
Yeah, that spread right there, 7.5. That's that half extra.
Christian, Brandon Ayuk is be covered by that Cam, whatever his name is, the rookie cornerback. He's gonna be one-on-one several times with the rookie cornerback, and that's who they're gonna go to. That's how you're gonna tell him right there. They're gonna call it. You're one-on-one with a rookie. We're going to you. Just go up and get the ball, right?
Well, the good news is for the 49ers, Deebo Samuel will play in this game, and it looks like he's not limited in any way.
Good.
And by the way, I did a pick video earlier this week where I was predicting that McCaffrey and Ayuk and Kittle would all beat the spread on their reception and yardage numbers by reception. And that may not be true anymore because I was basing that on Deebo Samuel probably not playing or being very limited. If he's a full go, then I probably go the exact opposite direction, at least with McCaffrey and Kittle, and say they're going to go under the projected number of receptions and yards.
All right. Deebo Samuel being activated is big news, but also another guy being activated. Mark Andrews will play in the AFC game. How big does that affect the Ravens offense, and how big does that affect the Chiefs defensive scheming, Jeremy?
It depends on, how healthy Mark Andrews is. Is he going to, be explosive, and is he going to be able to get those, jump balls at the end zone that he likes to go after? We'll see. Yeah, even if he's only part way, they still have the young guy in Isaiah Likely. I think, they'll be fine. I don't know if he's going to give him a big boost. If he was 100% healthy, maybe, but we know he's been kind of limping into these games as he's been practicing. So, but it is one more weapon for him to use as often as he can be on the field, and one more, good weapon that Kansas City's going to have to cover. So he will give them a boost. I don't know how healthy he really is.
I think it's likely that Andrews is not all that healthy, and is more, I think, going to be something of a spot play. But I don't think they've lost much of anything. Likely, the kid has been great. And frankly, he's more athletic than Andrews. So I don't think they really missed a beat. But the thing is, with both those guys healthy next year, wow. Lamar, let's just be honest, is not great at throwing the ball down the field outside the numbers. He doesn't do that well. He's very good inside. And if you have both those guys that can run seam routes and over the middle kind of stuff, that's going to be – remember when the Patriots had the homicidal maniac that killed a couple of people and then died in prison? What was his name? Hernandez. Remember when they had Hernandez and a young Gronk? That used to give defense fits. Andrews and Likely, man, if they're both healthy next year, look out.
Yeah, I think he gives them a pretty good boost. If not as Lou says, if he's limited, which we don't know because they're not telling anybody, he'll be a great diversion anyway. They're gonna have to take him into consideration and cover him. So it should help free up some of the receivers. I think he helps them a lot. I think him coming back is super important. Anything.
Has anybody seen Odell Beckham Jr.'s picture on a milk carton? Because he's disappeared.
Yeah, he was there last week. He just they didn't go throw to. He didn't get a lot of catches. Yeah, he didn't get a lot of targets. They took him out of the game. He's probably one of the best hands receivers ever. They took him out of the game pretty well, but he did get a couple of catches in the fourth quarter.
All right, so help me out, Jeremy. Who are Baltimore's receivers? Zay Flowers, OBJ. Who else?
Bateman. I think his last name is, or something like that. He's a young guy they've had there.
Oh boy,
I
does
think
that make the point? Does that make a great point?
I can't.
It's somebody. I think its last name begins with a B. You know what? You just reminded me of an episode of the First 48 where the guy is trying to explain that the stolen TV in his house that matches the exact same TV that was stolen from the neighbors down the house who was married, who they saw him carrying the TV down the street. They asked him whose TV it is, and he says, "It's my baby mama's TV." And they asked him, "Well, who's your baby mama?" And he said, I think her name's something like Tina?
Nelson Algador and Rashad Bateman are their two wide receivers.
Rashad Bateman, Nelson Aguilar is who rounds it out. Devin Duvernay.
Tylan Wallace.
Yeah, okay, so here's the point. You're making my point for me. OBJ should be in that mix. It's not like Aguilar or, Justin Bateman or, Jay Flowers are great receivers. So I don't understand why Odell Beckham Jr. isn't getting any points for me in my fantasy football league. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Well, Algador and Bateman have been his
Algador? Who's Algador?
Yeah. Really?
Aguilar.
What's his name? How do you say it?
Algador, wasn't he a vice president?
Sorry, I can't. Algador, yeah. And I'm so mad at Al Gore that he thought of that scam.
There was no controlling legal authority.
Right.
Okay. Can we talk about some betting on this game?
Aguilar.
Yeah. Let's talk some betting, shall we?
Yeah, we already talked. The set line for the Lions versus 49ers is 7.5 right now on the spread. The money line sits at plus 280 for the Lions and minus 360 for the 49ers, and the over-under is at 51.5. Rocky, is that spread 7.5 too big for you?
No, it's really not, because of the way they match up. Remember, I've told you a million times, matchups make games, and defense wins championships. Well, this defense can't keep up with a high-powered offense. If the 49ers, let's say play like they did last week, that is a different story. But I don't expect that to be the case at all. I think they knocked all the rust off. They played last week. They played 4 full quarters with all their starters, and they're gonna be ready to play. I don't think the Detroit's secondary. As a matter of fact, Lou was mentioned McCaffrey. I think McCaffrey's numbers are going to be up, even though this is the best run defense. He's going to set this guy will be able to run. They're going to run the ball. They're going to hit him hard in the mouth. This is going to be a smash mouth. There's 2 really good defenses, man. I don't expect a really high scoring game, but I expect them to cover the 7.5 spread easily.
Jeremy, do you like that spread 7.5?
Sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kamala Harris.
Everyone, Jeremy James.
Huzzah!
I don't know how close Detroit can keep it. I don't expect them to win this game, but you never know. So the Niners favored at about a touchdown sounds about right.
If the Lions ice cream, then definitely somewhere, if you understand what the capabilities are, because people are capable, and I'm capable, and you're capable, and therefore it's it's a possibility.
Toasters are dangerous, and I hate ducks too.
Sorry, I was channeling Joe Biden for a minute.
Me too. I hate ducks too. Toasters are dangerous, and I hate ducks too.
Let me do a quick reset. I actually have a very specific strategy going into this weekend, which is this. The best way to bet this that I see is, because there's no value on the money line for either team, and I'm not about either favorite. I'm not excited about taking either the 49ers minus 7.5 or Baltimore minus 3.5. I'm not excited about it. I'm not like, oh, I got to jump on that line right away. So what I'm doing is I am making a parlay bet of the two favorites. So if you make a parlay bet out of 49ers money line and Ravens money line, you get 2-15-1 basically. So if what I'm doing is I'm putting up $125 on a parlay bet for those two teams, and it pays back $235. Then I'm putting $50 on Kansas City on the money line and $25 on the Lions on the money line. If Kansas City wins on the money line, you're going to get back $150. If the Lions win on the money line, you're getting back about $140. So if it goes completely south and both upstarts win, you make around $300. If it goes the other way and you get both favorites, you make about $125. So that's the way I'm playing it.
And that actually, somebody actually asked me a few weeks ago, what does it mean hedging your bets? That's what hedging your bets is. You
Right.
have your favorites, but you lay something off on an opponent if the odds are big enough to get some of your money back. You'll make less, but you're going to make money.
Right.
Probably.
Yeah, it's the bot where I get screwed on that bet is if the Chiefs or the Lions win and the other one doesn't. Then in that case, I'll be down somewhere between $75 and $100. But the chances, my biggest unit amount is on the two favorites combined as a parlay bet.
Right. So,
Jeremy, you got all that?
How come I can't see Christian? How come I can't see you, Christian?
His camera's not on.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. So listen, what about the
Rocky's very concerned that he can't see his boy.
Yes, I am. Another thing I'm concerned about. We discussed last week the Kansas City Chiefs' inability to travel. We can put that one to bed. All right. Yeah. By the way, going into that game, they were 38-11 on the road.
No, man. Hang on.
Just because they never had to play a playoff game on the road, they showed you last week they could do it.
Oh, Rocky. The Bills had a guy playing middle linebacker and calling their defense who was sitting on a couch at home 2 weeks ago. They would have won that game. They were decimated on defense
on that last drive. They had a guy open over the middle. Josh
didn't drop that ball,
but they still played really well. Against
a team that didn't have any starting linebackers or either safety left.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm not gonna buy into the Patrick Mahomes bullshit.
So you don't think they can?
Best
They can.
quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah.
AM radio.
Once again, the Chiefs have their Super Bowl winning defense traveling to.
Did I just swear? I did. Sorry.
Yes, you did. Traveling to Baltimore this weekend, and I guess we'll find out definitively what they can do on the road this weekend. Who do you like in that game?
I guarantee you, Travis Kelce is not going to be 10 yards behind the Baltimore defense wide open for a touchdown at any point in that game.
At any point in the game.
The Baltimore Ravens have the best linebacking core in the NFL and the best cover safety in the NFL. So Travis Kelce is not going to have a very good game. And I don't believe that the sort of mediocre receivers on Kansas City are going to, do great against what is a very good Baltimore secondary. So is Isaiah Pacheco going to power the Kansas City offense against the Baltimore Ravens defense?
Not even.
So
but I expect a close game. I expect the Ravens to win and cover, but I don't think it's going to be a blowout by any means necessary. I think the Chiefs are going to stay in it and play really well.
I expect that the Chiefs will stay in this game because the referees will do everything they can to keep the Kansas City Chiefs in the game.
See that? Did you see what they did last week? What they do every week? It was insane. Crazy. Three penalties on the Chiefs. And one they could have called run to the quarterback, pass interference twice, and they threw a flag and then picked it up.
I
mean,
saw multiple holding calls and false
Oh,
starts on
man.
the Chiefs that weren't
Yeah.
called.
They weren't
So
called.
I just, it's kind of like the Chiefs have become the new Patriots. Remember when the
Yeah.
Patriots
The new-
never got a penalty called against them? It was like,
Don't hit Brady. Don't hit Mahomes. Don't call nothing. Yeah. And by the way, Patrick Mahomes being tackled 2 yards from the sideline and throwing the ball up into the crowd with his left hand is
Oh,
not
God,
intentional
yeah.
grounding. It's
That
not
was- that
intentional
was-
grounding. That's
that
not
was
grounding.
crap too.
How's that not grounding?
We've covered the games, I think, pretty well. I think the picks are everybody's on the 49ers and the Ravens to win.
Christian, you on that?
Yep.
Okay.
And I'm not gonna lay any points on either game. I believe the 49ers are way superior to the Lions because of their defense. The 49ers defense. I believe the Ravens are superior to the Chiefs because of their defense. But we'll see. Weird things can happen in football. And you want to talk about weird things? Bill Belichick is not going to be a coach in the NFL next season.
Yeah.
I'm so excited about that.
What odds
Go,
would you put on
go
that?
home. Go home. They hired who they hired in Atlanta instead of Bill Belichick.
Ian
After interviewing
Morris.
him and Harbaugh.
Raheem Mostert.
Raheem.
The Rams defensive
Raheem Morris.
coordinator, Rocky,
Yeah.
poor guy.
Raheem Morris. Yeah.
A great hire, by the way.
I think
Yeah.
it's a great hire. I think it's a great hire. I think he's ready, man. It's a great
So
hire.
Bill Belichick, the Seahawks and the Commanders are who's left, and the Seahawks are not hiring Bill Belichick. That's not happening.
They're not going to go from one 70-year-old to another.
No, so all that's left is the Commanders, but can you imagine? The guy is considered the greatest NFL coach in history, and he
Got beat
can't
out
get a
last.
job.
But he's 72. He lost Brady and hadn't done anything since he lost Brady. The team was really bad the last couple of years. Yeah, there's a lot of questions there, and the kind of power he's going to want in an organization, and I think is what's keeping him from getting a job.
Yeah, if he'd have left the Patriots when Brady left, he could have got a huge contract somewhere for decades. But now we all know he was wrong. It was Brady all the time. It was never Belichick, ever. It was always Brady.
Hang on. Belichick coached the defense, and they had some historically great defense.
Absolutely.
He's a great defensive coordinator, no doubt about that.
And, okay, so Mike Vrabel is out there. Bill Belichick is out there. The Seahawks and the Commanders both need coaches. Do either of those is Mike Vrabel or Bill Belichick coaching in the NFL next season?
I think Mike Vrabel will be a Seattle coach.
I don't
He
think
hasn't
he's going to go there.
no interviews yet. They haven't talked to the guy. Yeah, and right now the last person that Washington brought in, they're doing a second interview with the Dallas Cowboys defensive coordinator, whose name escapes me right now.
Dan Quinn.
So, yeah, they're talking to Dan Quinn for a second time. Seattle's just been quiet. I have no idea what they're doing.
Loud, did you see what the Eagles did and the Cowboys? They both made themselves worse trying to improve against the other team. They both made themselves worse.
Yeah,
after all that happened.
You know what? The Giants might win the NFC East next year.
I'm telling you, the Eagles and the Cowboys both said, "We'll fix this." Went out and shot themselves in the foot. Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. They dumbed down their assistant coaches. They made it worse. They got it worse. Out of the pan into the fire. Horrible.
How do we all feel about Jim Harbaugh to LA?
I hate Harbaugh.
Why not?
Hate him.
They need they got a talented roster and they need some good coaching. He's obviously a winner wherever he's been. I see why they did it. It's a big market. They got a big name coach now. So I don't hate it for the Chargers. I'm not a fan of it because I'm not a fan of the Chargers, but it's a solid enough hire. Somebody was going to bring him in, I thought.
Yeah, and here's the thing. The Chargers always find a way to screw it up. So that's what I think will continue. I think Harbaugh's there for 5 years. they make a couple of maybe wild card playoff games, and then he leaves. I don't think he's going to turn the Chargers franchise around.
No, he's going.
He's the coach.
Who is the best coaching hire so far in the NFL?
I think it's Raheem Morris to Atlanta.
Yeah,
so far.
I agree. I agree.
I think that was a really solid hire, really good hire by them. But I'm also really, excited that the Raiders didn't shoot themselves in the foot and do something crazy. And stuck with the guy who has that team fired up and ready to go. So I thought that was good on their part.
And of course, the Saints fired the offensive coordinator that was holding Derek Carr back all season long. So we will have John Gruden is going to be the new offensive coordinator for the New Orleans Saints.
That's what they're talking about.
27 minutes and 38 seconds before he brought up
another week, another Derek Carr mention.
Hey, since we are a betting show, if I can bring up one thing really quick that is about
1 minute.
And it's also very important this weekend. At plus 125, CM Punk is the odds-on favorite to win tomorrow's WWE Royal Rumble.
Wow, really?
Just so you know, if you want to bet on the Royal Rumble, 120 plus 125 for CM Punk.
WWE just made a big deal with somebody for streaming rights. Was it Amazon? Who was it?
Netflix. They're going to have their flagship show Monday Night Raw on Netflix starting in 2025. Yes.
Okay, and what was the wrestler's name again?
CM Punk.
CM Punk
plus 125. And in the women's Royal Rumble at minus 110, the odds-on favorite is Bayley. So there's your betting odds.
Do they use oil, and are they naked?
No.
That's a whole other kind of wrestling, Loud.
Oh,
yeah.
That's private wrestling with Vince McMahon.
My nurse here.
Okay.
Lorena, my nurse.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. All right, everyone. It's been Steer Line. We will see you guys next week for the Pro Bowl.
Oh, my goodness.